Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. Cabrini, Mike's Instant Movie Review. Just saw the movie on the big screen, celebrating for whatever it's worth, or it's worth a lot, actually. International Women's Day, with my International Woman shirt on, wearing this wonderful Mulan shirt in honor, homage to International Women's Day, and celebrating a great Italian American, a real deal Italian American, first American saint, Mother Cabrini. So I would think, yeah, go see this movie. It's a good movie. It's a drama. It's a long one. It's about, I think, 2 hours and 25 minutes. It's one of these movies where like the main character is kind of portrayed as a saint, but in this case, she actually was a saint. She was named a saint. She was in Italy. In Italy, she had this vision of making this empire of hope. She wanted to start in Asia and China and help the orphans. And she was a woman, obviously, about 100 years ago, and she's applying to, I guess, the Roman Catholic Church. And they're more or less blowing her off and telling her to stay in her lane and stay where she is. And she demands to see His Highness, the Pope, the actual real deal Pope. And he kind of bargains with her, like, hey, look, start this in the West, meaning good old US of A. The Pope, assigns her to New York City, to 5 Points. All this stuff is new to me. I guess I don't know my American history. I don't know my Catholic Church history. I don't know my Cabrini history. But all these wonderful things told in this film. Here's the thing, folks. When you don't know, like, your history, you don't know a specific story or about a specific individual or what they did, and you see one of these biopics, you're kind of entrusting the filmmakers that they told the actual story as best they could within the parameters of a feature film. So I really can't tell you if this film is accurate or not, okay? Because I really don't have anything to judge it against. But that being said, I think the film was effective at times. How do I put this? Not that it was anything I had seen before, beat by beat, but we have seen this type of thing before. The underdog overcomes the odds. You can beat City Hall. You can humanize the institutions. She has an indomitable will. All that good stuff. It's all here in this movie. Obviously, now I know something. If anyone asked me who Mother Cabrini is, I could give them a nutshell version of it, whereas 3 hours ago I couldn't. So in that regard, the film is effective. And you start to ask yourself these questions that Mother Cabrini asks us. When we die, we'll be asked the question, what did you do for the sick? What did you do for the poor? And it's like, shit, I don't know. I kind of like avoided them. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reality. Like, if I'm driving up in my vehicle and some person, assumingly homeless or whatnot, or poor, or maybe just pretending to be because you don't know, but if they're standing outside with a little sign, my fear is if I roll down the window, they're going to punch me or shoot me. You know what I mean? Because what the fuck? I'm in a seated position. I have no defense. So I tend to just keep my little windows rolled up, okay? As far as the sick, yeah, you want to help. But do you want to get sick yourself? You know what I mean? And I know that if you're talking about certain non-communicable diseases, then that's a different story, obviously. And I do give to charity, okay? When I have my eBay store, The Foreign Object, all lowercase, one word, The Foreign Object, which I sell my own art, wonderful things from around the world, I give 10% to charity, okay? That's the type of individual that I am. So, I do whatever the fuck I can. But did I do Cabrini's type of stuff? No. But this is the type of movie that's good, that it's made every once in a while. It kind of, gives you a little bit of hope for humanity. There's other thoughts that come to... Look, there's nothing wrong with the movie. The movie is fine. You're not going to have romance. It's about a nun. You're not going to have comedy or whatever the fuck. It's not Johnny Knoxville. It's a nun story. So it is what it is. Okay. But the soaring music, and it is... this is becoming like a ritual here of Angel Studios. First with last summer's surprise hit, The Sound of Freedom. Was it Sound of Freedom or The Sound of Freedom? I think it's just Sound of Freedom. And Angel Studios, and they had like kind of a sci-fi movie a few months ago that I reviewed, and here they are again on their own, doing this movie. And then once again at the end of the movie they say, hey, pass on the buck, buy a ticket for your fellow man, here's a fucking code or whatever the fuck. So all these wonderful things. I enjoyed the movie. It is a sweeping story. I don't know what the budget was. I don't know if because it looks like a very high-end production. Okay, I mean it feels like a real big-time movie with actual footage of all these wonderful places. And if you're making things look like 100 years ago, the slums of Five Points. See, I didn't even really know what the fuck Five Points was. I've heard of Five Points in Atlanta, but not in New York City. And and she did have a friend, and this journalist guy Calloway, who like wrote, there was some men that did some nice things for this lady, the male journalist and so forth. I mean, there's so many things going on in this movie. She's a woman in a man's time, in a man's world. She's working through the institutions of the church and the New York City government. Okay, so these are difficult things for anybody. And it makes me reflect upon things like seeing the situations that this woman is in makes me kind of like, I don't want to deal with people. Like when you're dealing with assholes, like she's dealing with the church people and the government people, it kind of, to me, it validates my own feelings of, I hate institutions. I hate when you have to go to some asshole for approval and get voted on. Yes, we need institutions. Yes, we need these things. We need governments. We need agencies. I get it. But if you're trying to work within that system, it's very difficult. It's very annoying. And for those of you that follow me over on One Pro Wrestling and Sports Fan, and you know how I applied to work for the WWE creative writing team and had a job interview in Titan Tower, and they did not hire me because they're idiots and assholes. Now that we know what we know about what's going on in that goddamn company, I can say, well, I'm glad for their sake that I wasn't hired, because I would have blown the roof off that place. I would have been the whistleblower to save all these people from this Vince McMahon shitting on women. Okay? I would have been the one to call the authorities had I been there and known about this information. Now, all the parasites and all the bootlickers in that company did nothing because they have low integrity. Okay? But I would have. So anyway, it is what it is, folks. The movie, it's good. It's sweeping. It's high production values. I guess this Angel Studios is coming on strong as like this powerhouse now, where we're going to see these type of movies that have like this religious subtext or undercurrent or even focal point of these major people doing God's will. But the movies are not preachy like the Kirk Cameron, whatever the fuck, Escape from Alcatraz or Left Behind, whatever the hell he's doing. These movies are not like that. See, that's the thing with these Christian films. They typically play to the, preaching to the choir, okay? And this film adds, I get her fucking name wrong. CABRINI, as last summer's Just Say Freedom or The Sound of Freedom, they're going for the whole enchilada, like all the audience. They don't want just the people coming in from like a church group on Wednesday night. They want everyone to come see these movies. So that's good. Good for them. So I tip my little hat to CABRINI and to the filmmakers. I do think it was good. I do think it was effective. Were there moments when it's kind of like, okay, we've seen this before? Yeah, but that's okay. John Lithgow as the mayor of New York City, I do kind of at least feel like this story is worthy of a Google Wikipedia moment, because I want to see if some of these characters in real life were like they were portrayed, or was this enhanced for dramatic representation. One man and a camera films, one space, man space, and a camera films. One Mike Messier, One Pro Wrestling and Sports Fan, one artist, Mike Messier, all on YouTube. Click my links, buy my books from MikeMessier.com. Thanks.